Welcome back to week 2 of the LPL Spring Split 2018. We're coming back for our final game in the series between FPX and WE. Now, FPX definitely looked like they were the favorites heading into the second game, then lost spectacularly. So now I have to flip-flop and say that WE probably going to win the third game. Yes or no for us?
Wow, already flip-flopping. I'm actually going to stand strong. You know, at the top of the day, I said that I believe FPX were weak in the one important area where Team W were strong, which is that late game team fighting. They tend to make over-aggressive mistakes, and I felt that Team W would punish them. I'm actually going to go back on that, and I'm going to say FPX have shown enough growth over the series, even trying to win some of the team fights late game in game number 2 at a massive gold deficit, that if they just don't, you know, roll the car off the cliff and everything isn't on fire, that I actually think they're the better performing team overall at pretty much every aspect of the game. Macro, skirmishing, team fights.
That is very interesting. That's a very interesting. Do you think that extends to draft? Or...
I think they've been better at executing the strategy that they've put together. It feels like Team WE are slowly identifying certain problems, like the adjustment from the Kog'Maw Braum to Xiye Rakan. They clearly went backstage and said, okay, we need a winning bot lane, because otherwise our jungler is just getting invaded repeatedly. So you can tell that they are making adjustments. They're trying to shore up their weaknesses, but it's still the same old, same old. And again, it's Team WE capitalizing on mistakes and not necessarily being proactive and forcing FPX to make mistakes.
So how did FPX actually win this game then? Because basically what you're saying is they have all of it, they just need to do like less of all the crazy stuff that really puts them over the edge.
You could do the crazy stuff. Literally, game 2, I would almost just, if I'm FPX and their coach, I would just say throw it away. Like, obviously everything lit on fire all at once, and at that point you're just like, I guess we play it out and see what happens. But if it's an even game, they looked much better in game number 1 when it was just kind of 2 strategies executing, and that's when they outperformed Team WE. So that's what they need to go back to.
I mean, at the very least, I'd like to see a winning top side, just for the sake of Gimgoon, because as you said, it was like that 50-50 in the jungle, and yes, it can go over to Sejuani, but it absolutely didn't in that one, so we'll see if they actually do draft that as we send it over to our casters for the call on game number 3.
Thank you very much, Pulse. We are going to be taking this call, but who exactly are we going to be calling, Rusty? Because he keeps saying we're sending over to us to call.
911 after game 2, I think, because FPX need to actually... No, actually, that's the police. I'm wrong. I'm not American. What's it? Is it 911 for ambulances in America? Frost, not if it's yes. Yeah, okay, 911 then. I don't know. I'm learning.
Well, they need to fire a truck, apparently, to try and help them out coming into this next match. But we are going to game number 3 of this best 3 series. Currently tied up 1-1. FunFlus Phoenix took game number 1. And Team W were able to fight back in game number 2. Through my headset, I can hear Frosker and laughing over there.
No, I do think, again, FPX after their second game had a very shaky showing, but it was at an individual level. And I think that's something that can very easily be fixed or mended coming into game 3. Draft plays a small part in that compared to game number 1, though, where I feel like the draft was a bit shaky. WE did course correct. And I say a lot of this, draft-wise, actually starts in the jungle role. Pepper should have something aggressive. Condi should probably keep something aggressive, and we'll have to see what this actually pans out to be.
Already a couple of changes in picks and bans. Kalista Galio still banned out by FunFlus Phoenix, but this time they take away Zoe on the side of Team WE. Camille and Rai still banned out, but Jarvan hits the deck as well, with Pepper again going for the Sejuani pick into the jungle.
Yeah, and I'm not the biggest fan of the Sejuani pick. Once again, we've mentioned this 1,000 times as to why we wouldn't want that to be the case. But Sejuani is not exactly a passive champion. Still has shades of aggression available to her. Lots of opportunities to engage. Her early jungle clear is still perfectly fine and can match something like the Jarvan. Honestly, I just think that he played the level 2 fight quite poorly as well. So coming into the third game, they choose the Sejuani. They prioritize the Sejuani, not just for Pepper, but away from Condi.
Well, once again, Emperor of Shurima gets picked up for xiye. So he's going to try and take the champion that being picked up in game number 2. And this time it's Team WE that will be picking up the Caitlyn. LWX played it in game number 1 to great success.
I would like a Varus Braum as an immediate response from FPX, not to even allow the support to be seen from WE before this point. So they don't choose to go for the full bottom lane. They actually shift the tides with how they're picking their roles.
So they're not going to go for the early pickup of the Sejuani Braum combo. Both paths are synergizing quite well with one another. In WE, now have a chance to pick up their jungler of choice for Condi. They go for Zac. This is what they played with Caitlyn yesterday against Vici when Jarvan was banned against them. So it makes sense they're going to do the exact same thing when they ban out Jarvan against FPX.
Seems like Condi only really has a couple of champions that he wants to play.
Another jungle coin.
That's the one. Too many coin players in the jungle at the moment.
Gangplank, the first ban that comes out from Team WE. Tomcat just going to hit the bench for Fun.
Top laners away when the Vladimir has been locked in. So a little bit afraid, it seems, Team WE of Gimgoon's champion pool, of the chance that he does get the Gangplank for himself. So just lots of respect to Gimgoon as a top lane individual laner.
Malzahar, the final ban from Team WE, a champion we normally see picked it during the first rotation. Overlooked during this series quite heavily.
Certainly has been. There's a higher priority on AD carries and a higher priority for FPX on Vladimir in this third game, and mid laners for WE.
Kind of makes sense when you have AD carries like LWX and Mystic playing against one another. Final ban from FunFlus Phoenix. They're already targeting the support pool against Ben. They take away a champion from the top lane against 957, Maokai. I believe he's been permanently banned in the second ban rotation so far throughout this series.
It is very interesting to watch where WE go here. Of course, the support is the easy option if they want a last pick for their top laner. But they do seem to be a bit more abstract when it comes to pick order. Team WE. Higher priority on Ben. He does seem to be the person getting a lot of the focus and allowing a winning 2v2.
Gnar is the pickup for Team WE, top side of the map. 957 will be picking up the champion again. So FunFlus Phoenix, a support as well as potentially a solo laner here for them.
And it makes you wonder with the Vladimir locked in third before the next ban phase as to how high a priority WE actually had for that pick and whether they would have gone towards it. With the Kha'Zix available, that could have been banned. Jarvan was already banned. They might have been able to remove Condi's champion pool. So instead of doing that, they'll still get the Braum FPX. They'll be happy about it.
So to get the Sejuani Braum combo, final pick could be a top laner or a mid lane pick for FunFlus Phoenix. They have flexed the Vladimir before. Multiple teams in the LPL have been flexing Vladimir. In fact, everywhere around the world, everyone's been flexing Vladimir. And there's a Jayce pickup coming out for FunFlus Phoenix.
Yeah, an aggressive top lane. And we saw the xiye most recently, I believe, playing Jayce in the top lane. He went 9-1 with a big carry performance. Jayce into Gnar has a lot of points of strength where Gimgoon should be stronger at many different moments. Now WE to pick their last remaining role for Ben into a Braum.
Well, as Frostcone likes to call it, one Sparkle Boy will be picked up here for Team WE, heading into the bottom lane with Condi's Caitlyn. It's not going to be the Janna that we saw in Game 1 against Vici. However, the Taric does feel a very similar purpose.
Now, if you cast your mind back to the very first time we saw the reworked Taric running around in competitive League of Legends, it was into the Vladimir. And the reason being is that you can throw out your ultimate as he hemoplagues and try and prevent a whole lot of the extra damage that comes out shortly afterwards. It's not an instant burst is the point. But they're against the Jayce. They're against the Sejuani who engages almost instantly and a Varus who can do the same. They can do burst or they could do damage over time. And so the Taric has a place in this composition for WE, but its place is also very awkward if the ultimates come out at the wrong time. However, Taric into Braum, good matchup.
It's come down to game number 3 between these two teams. Team WE didn't have a great start without Condi in the jungle. Melon was substituting in for the first 3 games. They went 1-2 during the first week of the LPL. Now that he's back, they were able to pick up their first win against Vici, with Condi back, I should say. FunFlus Phoenix, though, they went 0-2 against EDG. They then took down Snake, who look on form at the moment, and 0-2 to OMG again. But they've been such a fun team to watch, and they have so much potential in the LPL. And they've started incredibly strong, despite the scoreline of 1-2.
You can tell they are a good roster regardless of their current place in the standings. And you know that WE, despite their place in the standings, are significantly better than they were. They've added Condi, they're undefeated with him. And as we go into the third game, we do still get to see the clash of aggression against marked aggression, tapered aggression. WE trying to be as slow as they possibly can while still flashing forwards.
Team WE, everyone knows these 5 names now. They've been together for so many splits, and when they do change things up, it's been very minimal changes. FunFlus Phoenix, though, New team to the lead, led by the veteran of Gimgoon. They have some superstar names like LWX, like the newbie of Pepper, who's looked so good recently. And as much as the Team WE chants are always going to be this loud, Rusty, FunFlus Phoenix, every single game just get louder and louder.
Like one extra person has been converted from Team WE to FPX. Is that the case, Fish? Or are they just finally talking more?
Did they have to, you know, stand up from the W side of the stadium and walk over to the FPX side and be like, whoop?
They split the crowd up 50. They kind of are split, but I don't know how they would operate with defects.
Defecting over to the FunFlus Phoenix side of the stadium. And we are back onto the Summoners Rift, and again, just fanning out between the two teams. And, you know, we've had multiple seasons where we've seen early invades, you know, late invades, warding into lanes, etc. But 2018 so far has just been, you farm your side of the jungle, I'll farm my side of the jungle, and we might fight around the second or third camp.
Now, to be fair, second or third camp is still very early on Summoners Rift, Fish.
This is interesting, though. Condi's going to be starting at his Wolf camp. Gets a leash from Mystic as well as Ben.
He doesn't have a high priority on blue buff. Now, he may still go over to it.
He can do that double clear that we saw him do against Vici. Let's see if he does.
That's exactly what he's aiming to do here. He doesn't need a leash on the blue buff when he can do both camps simultaneously. Helps with the clear. If a Sejuani or if a jungler ever finds you, though, you're up creek. You're going to have a very rough time. But he can start the walls, still get a very strong leash from his respective duo lane, and he can do exactly what you're seeing on your screen, and that is mix and match the camp so that they're actually headbutting each other.
Making sure he takes down blue, and then we'll deal with Grump afterwards. Very stylish clear coming out. As Gimgoon says, hello, 957.
Every time you watch a Jayce against a Gnar, and the Gnar is in mini form, you'll find that Gnar is having a very bad time.
Gimgoon picking up the carry champion at the top lane to go up against 957. That will put a big pressure point on the map for FunFlus Phoenix.
Pepper also has a lot more initiative as a result of that as well. It's not going to be this Sejuani into the Jarvan 1v1 jungle off where mid laners make most of the difference. If Jayce has complete control of the top lane, this actually opens up the map so much more for Pepper to be able to try and steal some camps away. And there is a chance that Condi arrives to this red buff, but even if he does, you'd feel like Gimgoon can contribute just that little bit more.
Seems like Pepper knows about this route that Condi has taken. We'll be able to take away red buff. Makes his way over towards the Raptors as well. Condi, that ward just a little bit too late.
It doesn't spot the the red buff either, so he can't see if the camp's being cleared or not. He just knows that there is no Sejuani in the bush.
This is big coming out from Pepper. Able to get some good counter jungling going against Condi. Condi's not going to have much to farm. And he's now making his way into the mid lane as well. Leaves one Raptor behind. Doesn't get the charge of the xiye, but gets some decent chip damage.
Yeah, just take a little bit of damage. He was leaving the jungle either way, so have a look mid. Nice stun from Ben.
Double stun from Ben. Trap as well comes down from Mystic. LWX forced to use the heal nice and early. Still trading very well. Making sure that it's not all for naught.
One thing you'll always notice about LWX is that he doesn't run away. He plays like Kog'Maw on every champion, as in he tries to maximize his damage output whilst kiting, instead of ever just explicitly running backwards. Even after a poor start to the trade against the Taric, who gets a double stun, very clean from Ben. They turn around, they stand, they deliver. And in a double relic shield lane, I think they'll both be back to full health in no time regardless.
They should all be fine. So far in this match though, just to take stock of things, Pepper has done a good job of counter jungling against Condi. Top side of the map, 957 was forced to use his teleport to get back into lane early. Bottom lane, it seems like it's the Mystic and Ben show for now. Mystic also picking up the unsealed spellbook. On the flip side, FunFlus Phoenix have one of their own. That's going to be put on Bing on the Vladimir, as well as three stopwatches in this game. So not as many as we normally see. It's not going to be the league of stopwatches this time around.
No, not quite. Mystic does have his signature Caitlyn, though. You mentioned he has the unsealed spellbook, but he's also just on Caitlyn. This is one of the few characters that they played at Worlds that was able to hard carry for the side of Team WE. But it's not just the AD carry role this time. xiye has a sizable CS advantage growing in that middle lane. He's had a decent amount of control through the early part of the laning phase. But Bing hasn't opted towards the standard Vladimir pathing with build. He's gone towards a Dark Seal and a refillable potion. More of an acknowledgement that his lane isn't going to go to plan.
Minion Dematerializer being heavily used by Bing as well. Only one of those left. Top side of map, Gimgoon zoning out 957. Making it really difficult for this Gnar. Gnar went back to base, picked up the refillable pot as well as the Doran shield. Gimgoon with a good trade there against him.
Pretending he wasn't recalling in the bush, of course.
Xiye now being jumped on again by Pepper. But he will be able to drag himself back to the safety of his outer turret.
Everything kind of calms down, slows down a little bit more. Mystic has teleport, so his BF sword timing will be very nice. His lane control will be exquisite. WE's 2v2 should have complete control now for any subsequent trades that come from this. I think Pepper's got the timing unlocked. We'll judge him quietly if it's not.
Stop dancing.
Where is it? Where is it?
I think he's waiting for a dive here almost.
He was dancing in the middle of the pit, man. I don't know. xiye doesn't have mana, so any side of the jungle that Pepper's looking at should be free to take. He was a bit off with timing, but he's there.
Not quite SOFM. Gets a little bit of help from Bing as well.
SOFM is a unique breed of jungler.
Xiye, without the unsealed spellbook, is forced to walk back into this lane. Bing will be able to shove another minion wave in. Pepper been doing a really good job, but the goal is still dead even between the two teams. No major plays taking place just yet.
But Pepper has been doing a very good job, Fish, and Bing hasn't accidentally killed himself in the middle lane by any kind of pressure coming out from Team WE, and both of those are massive positives that they should be taking away and being happy about.
Curious from Xiye though, he's walked back into lane with half of his mana, so just made sure he could run straight back after a buy. Yes, his blue buff's going to come back up shortly. Let's see if Bing can take advantage of that, teleporting back into the lane using his unsealed spellbook.
It's a good point. Of course, he does have the mana flow band to try and get some extra mana back. He also has presence of mind upon level up. So as mana goes, xiye is not in the worst position, but it is super reliant on him getting that blue buff. And FPX don't opt in towards fighting for it.
I've seen this before. There was
They
game
brought
number
Pepper bottom.
1. Control Ward is able to help him out. Flashes after Ben. Ben's still level 5, so he does not have the ultimate available. Mystic trying to fight this one back to front. They take down Pepper. Now Mystic, where are you going to run to? Force out of the lane. And FunFlus Phoenix pick up first blood in the bottom lane.
Crisp, unfortunately, is the recipient of that kill as well. Now, Mystic does have to walk the long way back to his turret. Sejuani has no ultimate, but the bottom lane of FPX were on their level 5 during that trade, so very well done from the jungler of FPX to get the kill. And he should probably just come back to bottom lane once the Varus and the Braum have their ultimates, knowing that Ben, no summoner spells.
And decided not to make their way towards the dragon buff. Infernal Dragon spawning this time around. Instead just settling for that single pick onto the support.
Super risky. They knew that Condi was on the bottom side of the map. They stole all of his top side jungle and placed some wards as they went down. So they don't take the risk.
Hello.
Good old sidestep.
A little bit angry there, 957. Bit too angry. Gimgoon, very calm top side of the map. 10 CS lead for him against the Gnar. Mid lane is changed up slightly for Xiye. Now that he has the blue buff, he's able to push in Bing.
Yep. Being able to constantly use your spells is the saving grace of any Azir in the mid lane matchup. That and, of course, a bit of extra AP from the blue buff.
But again, very slow-paced game between the two teams once more. WE have not got that big turret trade that we saw them do against Vici when they picked up the Caitlyn. FunFlus Phoenix yet to go for the hyper-aggressive plays just yet. We've seen a single gank from Pepper in the bottom lane that was successful. And besides that, nothing else, just small ganks here and there.
Well, Bing is making this very difficult for FPX to make any plays, and for Team WE, having mid lane as an opening to walk around the rift is just setting them up for success pretty much everywhere. Look at the vision they have around mid lane. And then the fact that Condi could walk through any of those positions completely unseen and get a gank off means that even more so than you would expect just because it is a Zac, FunFlus Phoenix have to show more respect, more caution. And that actually, as invisible pressure, buys time for 957 to catch up, for xiye to grow slightly larger leads than he otherwise would have. And this is starting to result in poor outcomes for FPX.
Mystic's teleport is back up and online, so he has a free shop once again. LWX, he's only got a pickaxe for himself, so Mystic will have a nice lead against the Varus at the moment. Yep. Berserker Greaves as well as a pickaxe, and he gets his boots online exactly at 10 minutes.
Of course, it means that it's going to be a Guinsoo's Rageblade build from LWX. He's just shopped himself and gone towards the Blasting Wand on top of it, and a recurve both finished. So his items are there now. And as laning strength goes, unfortunately for Varus, whilst you can go AP, I wouldn't recommend it. That's not a big item spike yet, but he's not far off.
Mystic is almost as if he did not leave this lane, Rusty.
Almost as if he teleported.
Condi is going to get some good damage onto Pepper here. Mystic is there as well, delivered deeper into the back lines. He's going to charge over the wall, but he's stuck on the wrong side of the map. Oh boy. He's still trying his hardest to get away from this. We'll be able to lock down xiye, but xiye just flags and drags over. Well, that's not a Jarvan, that's an Azir. Pepper will fall, and WE get a kill for themselves. Free
kill. Good ultimate from Condi specifically, and Ben being at the right place at the right time as well. So they lock down Pepper. Very much mispositioned. And even a convenient scuttle crab to assist Condi, and he's slapping them both together. And now Pepper caught out. Just gives so much more time. If the jungle is gone, if mid lane already has control for Team WE, then what's to stop them from pushing super hard in every lane, from threatening turrets to drop, from taking Infernal Drakes?
You can see most of the pressure that Gimgoon had over 957 is suddenly gone. He has a 20 CS lead for himself. But 957 is hanging on quite nicely on the Gnar. Mystic still relentless in pressure in this bottom lane, making sure LWX and Chris are pushed back behind the minion line.
Yeah, he's gone for 4 points in his Q on the Caitlyn. Traditionally, it was 3 points and then a W max, so he's gone for that extra bit of wave clear, even though he's gone for the full AD build. Interesting, of course, just a note from Mystic.
Helps out if the laning phase is prolonged slightly, which in a Team WE game is probably going to always happen.
Yeah, I'd probably say that the lanes will go for as long as they're allowed to in a WE game.
FunFlus Phoenix still yet to make another proactive move. They are the team that we know to do it. We harp on it time and time again. Gimgoon wants to find 957, wants nothing to do with that, Jayce.
Yeah, 957's actually trying his hardest just to wave clear and leave. Crisp acting like he's caught out of position, but he wasn't.
Yep. LWX changed the crowd control. However, ultimate does come out from Ben. Invulnerability coming through. Pepper is down to this bottom lane once more. Good flash from Ben, but that's not going to stop him from falling. As again, FunFlus Phoenix pick on the support from Team WE.
They are really struggling to get these kills over to the Varus, but they still secure the kill for themselves. Well done from FPX, and that coincides with the Infernal Drake if they want to look at it. Now, LWX is doing it. I have a feeling they're going to come back over. Condi is nearby if he wants to try and steal it. He may lose his life for it, though.
Well, he is the son of Baron.
Gimgoon's actually here, and that's completely unannounced and unknown to Team WE.
Doesn't even have to show himself. It goes uncontested. FunFlus Phoenix pick up an Infernal Dragon for themselves. Next elemental to spawn will be a Mountain Dragon.
You just have to think at what cost as well, though, for FPX. They go for the Infernal Drake, and that is a big win for them. The gold lead doesn't really exist to either team, but with LWX not at his item spikes and after just winning a trade, makes you wonder, that was awkward. The point is still that they're diving LWX.
And he's probably going to fall here. I don't see any way how he's going to get out of this one. Slowed down by the rubber hands. 957 jumping through. Can he get out? No! He's delivered back in. Chris now trying to help him out. Throws up the shield, but it's not going to last long enough. 957 gets that kill.
Well done from Condi. Flashing using the ultimate. Not even a flash was going to save LWX. How close Crisp was to saving him. Unfortunately, close is not going to be enough. Turrets drop, and WE actually get a decent little trade there.
Gimgoon is able to respond with the top lane outer turret, but WE get a kill as well as the first turret gold. So ultimately picking up a small gold lead for themselves. They're now 400 ahead. They have LWX's summoner spells as well. So he is a sitting duck for a while.
Of course, Ben doesn't have summoners of his own just yet, so as the bottom lane goes, very volatile area, very dangerous place to be. Now, xiye winning the mid lane 1v1 has just started to spill over to the bottom side of the map. Gimgoon winning the top lane 1v1 has actually started to spill over to the top side, and now you're starting to see respective trades.
Although they do pick up the Rift Herald, it's important to note that the mid lane outer turret is incredibly low for FunFlus Phoenix. They're trying to make a sneaky play here, shipping everyone into the top lane. Control ward placed down as well.
Sejuani has got the ultimate. The question is, Mystic has cleanse actually, he traded.
Oh, he's going to get locked down here. There goes Chris, flashing on top of his head. Good night, Caitlyn.
Now, we did use cleanse. So, I mean, it was good that we noted it, but Cleanse isn't going to stop all of the damage coming out of the Jayce following up to the crowd control that was there. And very strong layering of CC, of course, from FPX. A little bit cheesy, but I like it a lot.
Able to stop the tempo advantage that WE had, so to speak. They can't make that proactive play top side of the map now. Waiting for Mystic to come back alive.
Yeah.
Gives them time to defend this mid lane out of the turret. LWX and Chris will be sitting in this lane. Oh, that's some decent damage coming out from xiye.
Yeah, xiye is pretty big on his Azir. Only 1-0, but with a 30 CS advantage, and you look towards the items that he's completed for himself. Honestly, the Azir is sitting pretty. Of course, that's where we have to look towards the other lanes one more time. Gimgoon rushes the Ghost Blade instead of going towards a Black Cleave or anything of the like. Wants to continue to move faster and accelerate his laning phase.
Well, WE are going to sit Mystic still on the top side of the map. As you mentioned earlier, he swapped out for the cleanse. That has, however, been used. Bing as well as LWX, both in this mid lane, trying to clear out the minions. I'll have to see where they make their map rotation towards. 3 members strong. There's on the way pings. They want to go for a fight. Spooky Ghost being thrown out by Bing.
Ben, no flash.
They lock him down. He does have exhaust. Throws out his own ultimate, so we'll tank up some damage. Good use of the ultimate coming out from xiye, but they fight right behind the line of the Emperor's soldiers. They want to pick up a single pick and throw Rift Herald down in the mid lane.
LWX uses the ultimate. They lock him down, and now FunFlus Phoenix threatening that mid lane. You mentioned the Herald. Well, I don't think WA have any ways of defending this one. They'll look towards defending the second structure. Even Gimgoon comes in and says, "G'day" to Mystic, and makes him lose most of his health.
Good charge into the back line as well from Rift Herald there. We'll be able to pick up some chip damage in the mid lane in the turret. Not only did they get the pick, as well as the turret, but also this stops Mystic once again from pushing on the top side of the map.
Oh, and gets hit by another shock blast. That's pretty absurd. Gimgoon needs to calm down and start missing them just a little bit here and there. And Mystic is actually, whilst I would say his walking into the top lane to clear the wave, you don't expect 3 people to be in the bush, I would still, unfortunately, be crediting that death to Mystic. And then you have to think about, what do FPX get from picking off the AD carry? If it's a chance to go mid lane, another pick onto Ben by having vision, then getting a structure for it, that's really poor from WE. And just really good from FPX to be able to do that at all. Being in an unexpected place, making these unexpected picks happen, and just playing towards WE's standard I want to siege with Caitlyn nature.
And I know Ben's been crying a little bit about his 3 deaths here, Rusty, but he's picked up a Tear of the Goddess. I don't normally see that on supports. Is this something interesting for Taric?
Yeah, look. Do you want me to actually give you a reason, or do we want to sit here and be like, look at that tier? Isn't it neat?
Well, hopefully it works out for Ben
Taric's
later on.
biggest problem is that he runs out of mana. Now, I could think of other ways to have mana, but I guess he's pretty upset.
I believe he does. His passive does scale slightly with mana. He's one of the few champions that does have some sort of mana scaling.
He's no Rise, though.
He is no Rise. No Blitzcrank either.
In saying that, Taric does use a lot of mana. So if there's ever a team fight where Ben is using his ultimate and he's auto-attacking constantly, then he would run out of mana.
Tell you what, if he's going to be the majority of the deaths in this game, might not matter too much.
You just get 5 tiers.
As this game goes, though, FunFlus Phoenix do have a slight lead for themselves, just about 1,500 gold up.
Yeah, it's not a substantial lead by any means. With an Infernal Drake, it feels like it'd be worth a little bit more than just the what is now the 1,300 difference. There is a Mountain Drake up in 10 as well. And I have a feeling when you look at the mini-map and you see all of the wards placed, that FPX are just going to go and take that.
Summoner spells are up for everyone except for Crisp on the Brom. Those will be back up shortly. However, you can already see Team WE priority towards top side of the map. They sent Mystic up there. They already have Condi as well as Ben on the top side of the map as well. So Mountain Dragon will be picked up by FunFlus Phoenix. Gimgoon makes short work of this bottom lane outer turret as well.
It certainly does. So another structure falls, and it will eventually get traded from Team WE, but with map tempo, with map control, they are pretty far behind. That turret still has half of its health remaining, only just at half now. And FPX, they don't actually go to bottom lane, they don't go to the Gimgoon lane, they siege mid lane, and they take a turret away from Azir, so even less control belongs to WE.
They even flash forward with LWX. They're trying to throw out the ultimate, forces xiye to flash away.
Risky from the Varus, though, with the Zac just around the corner, and for a very prolonged amount of time, not running Unsealed Spellbook as well. Not having a flash could be the death of this Varus.
So that's 2 turrets.
It's a ward. Kill the ward.
2 turrets being picked up by FunFlus Phoenix, only the single one for Team WE in that long trade, as well as the Mountain Dragon. FunFlus Phoenix are just winning every single trade on the map right now.
Yeah, one thing we have to credit them for very much positively is every time FPX gets a lead, big or small, they seem to know what the next step is very cerebrally, able to set up for that move. And this is something that they did from week 1 of the LPL, from game number 1 of them, is every time they had a rise in mid lane, that was one of Bing's best champions, they would use the ultimate, they would go from objective to objective, from place to place. And they would just run you around the rift wildly, and you had no way of responding. That's why they're such a cool team to watch.
Mystic has been able to bridge his item disadvantage here. Already has the Infinity Edge as well as the Static Shift picked up. Overheal will be coming out as well as that Relic Shield, so he gets a nice big shield at the start of every single team fight. LWX, however, has his Gwyn's Rage Blade. He has the Wit's End as well.
Yeah, rushes the magic resistance item second. Doesn't go towards the Blade of the Ruin King now. He's against an Azir who has been doing very well through this game so far. 50-odd CS ahead of Bing and 2 completed items. So Wit's End second does make a whole host of sense, especially when he's posted up in the middle lane trying to deal with xiye.
Righteous Glory has been picked up by Sejuani as well. So Pepper not going for the fleet footwork Keystone Mastery on this Sejuani. He will still be able to run around quite quickly. So far, once again, just stalemate between the 2 teams. FunFlus Phoenix are normally the aggressors. So we'll have to see if they try to make a play here with Team WE sneaking around this corner,
really
going for it. They jump in first. Condi lands on LWX. Can he deliver into backlines? Yes, he can. Good damage and further push back by xiye. Surprise, says Team WE, as Pepper falls as well to Mystic. Big picks coming out from Team WE.
Gimgoon's going to try his best to hold with Bing, but unfortunately, the one thing we said that will happen, LWX's aggressive tendencies come back to hurt him against the WE roster. Now they walk over to Baron. No chance to hold structures. It looks like FPX are just going to have to deal with this and try and fight.
No smite available for FPX. Let's see if they do go for that fight. Oh, big Gnar coming out of 957. There's just nothing FunFlus Phoenix can do at the moment.
They've constantly been met and they've been bested by WE. The pick that is available from a Zac, now from 957 on his Gnar, secures them 2 kills. They get the Baron afterwards. Everything you could dream of and more for Team WE just opens up on the rift.
The team fight brought the gold back to even. Now they have a Baron buff to work with, and this was such a surprise for FunFlus Phoenix.
LWX has no flash. He has no chance to get out of this situation. Question is, why is he there? But then super pretty from Team WE, of course, to follow it up with the Azir ultimate. Taric was overkill, but at least they look shiny as they were taking apart the 2 remaining members of FPX that were there. And then we go to the Baron. So pretty much an immediate next best thing for WE to do. They know that the side of FPX are going to come over. They're going to try and fight them. And whilst it starts with good damage from Gimgoon, Gnar gets in. And good night, sleep tight. The rest of the roster. I didn't really need to finish it. You weren't talking, so I felt the need to.
Okay. So that's my fault.
No, just openly, you know, I'm thinking out loud.
I was going to say don't let WE bite, but
nah.
Team WE, however, have been able to pick up a nice gold lead for themselves. They're now 3,000 gold ahead of FunFlus Phoenix. Big team fighting play coming out from them as well, making sure they made use of LWX's splash being down.
And it is still down for just a little while longer. Of course, very similar timing to Azir's, so if they ever forget the timing, they can just look at their mid laner and do the maths.
WE going to continue pushing through here. Caitlyn with some good damage to these structures, has the double Zeal items complete. Rapid fire cannon as well as that static shift, so 80% crit chance coming out from the Caitlyn.
Well, they want the fight.
Says, let's go for a fight. Mystic with the cleanse gets into the back lines untouched. Ben in some trouble, but Condi flies on him from nowhere, again bringing LWX into the front lines. Big headshots coming out of Mystic. xiye gets the kill, making it a double. Looking for the 3rd on Chris, takes him down as well. Shurima shuffling into the back lines on top of that. Big's in trouble. Mystic takes that one down, and poor old Gimgoon, the veteran, trying to run away as Mystic just keeps going on forward. Haste in the hole comes out, doesn't take him down, but still big team fight from WE.
They won't get the final kill on a Gimgoon, but they will be able to siege this mid lane structure. Death timers probably too low at this stage of the game to look for anything further, but take the inhib, take the massive influx of gold that you just secured for yourself. Maybe even a Drake on the way out because it's up in 20 seconds. Super clean stuff from Team WE, specifically from their jungler, who once again, you know that FPX are going to go down fighting. That's not a surprise to anybody that they find an opportunity and they try and take that opportunity. But LWX still didn't have flash. I strongly still think that that was the incorrect move from them, yet I respect and appreciate that they took it.
They tried. We know FunFlus Phoenix are a team that like to constantly fight and find. They forced once more here. Didn't quite work out.
But what's hectic as well is that Mystic will place traps once all of this happens. He'll get out nicely with the cleanse. And as he starts placing the traps down, Zach is going to bounce them on top of the traps. And poor LWX just gets one hit. No way out of that whatsoever. xiye is free hitting, Mystic's free hitting. Condi just stands and delivers, and very well done.
Being falls at the end of this team fight, Piltover Peacemaker comes out from Mystic. During this time, FunFlus Phoenix have taken another Infernal Dragon for themselves. But WE are looking for a fight.
You don't want those Krogs. The last thing for WE is to try and break a second inhibitor realistically. Top lane's already set up for them. FPX, they snuck in there to get themselves a Drake as soon as they possibly could, prevent that Infernal from going to Team WE. Hey, giving themselves 2, so 16% AP and AD. A nice amount of extra damage to have, especially when they're behind, to try and help.
But even Gimgoon's Shock Blast combo barely tickles Mystic at the moment.
Yeah.
Grom trying to clear out these traps as best as he can. Condi again just sits on top of a control ward and says, you know what, I'm going to sit back, relax, and find the chance to jump in once more as another inhibitor is under siege for Team WE. Stop laughing, okay? I'm not that funny. WE now going to continue getting good pot shots at this turret, charging up. Condi says, let's go. Jumps in, cancelled by Pepper. And Condi says, you know what? The job's here is done. No LWX this time, but gets me back to safety.
That's all he needs to do, though. His job is just to pressure, to threaten the fact that he could go in at any moment. Now, he doesn't have his ult, so it may be that FPX feel less pressure. And Mystic is always a frontliner on his Caitlyn. It's the siege composition, the way that it's going to play out. They may go for it.
They may, but still, FunFlus Phoenix. Situation looks dire for them. Condi again is going to be able to heal up quite a bit with that Spirit Resurgence. Mystic is still chipping away at the inhibitor. FunFlus Phoenix spread out, almost just giving this one up. Going back to the rest of the base to defend. Pepper takes some damage from the headshots once more. WE get another inhibitor for themselves.
Minions were starting to take down their Nexus towers, so they did have to go back and defend. They also need to defend top lane. If they lost the fight just there, the game was over. Team W are able to win. So one of the few times you will see reservations in the FPX roster to slow it down, the fact that they don't want to fight. They do still have brains in those noggins, even if it's all aggression.
Lord Dominic's regards being picked up by Mystic. And a Void Star for xiye as well. So the armor that's going to come out from Pepper is not going to do too much anymore.
Do you know what, Fish? Common misconception of the LPL is that we're hyper-aggressive. I do think we are aggressive, but people seem to associate aggression to clown fiestas. I don't know why that exists.
That's not our region. No clown fiestas here, Rusty.
I think they're smart. Like, it's aggressive. It doesn't make aggression a fiesta.
I mean, if you were watching yesterday's game, Vici against Team WE, there was no aggression there, Rusty. That was an LCK match if I've ever seen one.
They've been spotted. No chance of a cheese.
Scrying Orb gets placed down. FunFlus Phoenix can't use the Fnatic Brush. W will just push forward. Condi just dives to the back lines. Pepper will stop it once again. Not able to deliver anyone into his team, but forces a flash out of the Sejuani as well as LWX.
Yeah, 2 flashes gone on one of the carries specifically, which means that 957 can now be the engage tool, with Zach not having the ultimate to drag them in. There's also a real chance that xiye tries to come up big and use his ultimate as some kind of engage tool. With 2 inhibitors gone and with minions starting to mount up and pressure, WE can play it as fast or as slow as they want.
Let's see if FunFlus Phoenix have a hero in their rosters. A Gimgoon chunks away at Condi, gets some good damage out of that. xiye decides, you know what, I'm going to go into melee range against this Jayce. Quickly realizes that's not a smart decision.
Threatens the ultimate though, doesn't actually use it, so xiye playing it a little bit coy around the top laner of FPX, and he backs away, but Gimgoon also respecting that ultimate so highly that he chooses not to take the trade or to bop xiye at all.
And why not? Why not? Baron's available, so WE just make their way over towards it. FunFlus Phoenix can't even get out of their base at the moment. gives them the empowered recall. They go back to base, complete the last bits and pieces of their items. A Rabadon Death Cap gets picked up by xiye.
6-0-3 as well as the scoreline of the Azir with an abundance of minions. He is ahead of the clock, as is Mystic. Team WE's solo, mid laner and AD carry have been farming incredibly well in game number 3. And try as Gimgoon might, he hasn't gone for the Shock Blast damage build. He's actually gone towards Blade of the Ruined King. In a black cleaver, he wants to chunk out some of the frontliners of their respective opponents, specifically 957 if solo laning continued.
Uh-oh. They found him. Oh, maybe not. They decided not to go in for that engage. No one else was close by besides the 3 on your screen.
Yeah, they had no idea where the rest of WE were. And you would assume if a Caitlyn is walking into a bush that there is someone behind him. A lot of respect shown, but I mean, how far can that respect actually take them when they've already lost both of their inhibs and the top lane is starting to get threatened, and WE just got Baron and shocked.
Let's see where they try to make this next push. Probably going to be top side of the map. As much as the score for xiye is 6-0-3, him and Mystic will definitely lead the charts in damage here, but Condi, 0-0-9, he's been the big playmaker of the squad. Pepper's been able to cast out a couple of his jumps in, but the ones he has not have led to big plays coming out from him. He's looking for another one here as well.
Yeah, no flash for LWX. He's the prime target. Top lane also lost its structures, and WE are collapsing.
957 just says, get back here, Gimgoon. Good ultimate coming from LWX, but Condi, again, he will get interrupted, but he's right behind the AD carry. LWX trying to do what he can, but good slam brings him back in, and invulnerability for Team WE means there's nothing that FunFlus Phoenix can do. They lose 3 members, their base is in shambles, and WE are going towards the Nexus.
Yeah, with being alive, I don't think it's going to be near enough to stop them. WE get the easy victory in game 3.
They lose game 1, fight back in game number 2, try to pick off Bing in the Fountain in game 3. 957, no, that's a Fountain turret. He'll get taken down, but WE, they pick up the series 2-1.
And it started off so promising for FPX once again. You thought they had what it takes after that game 1 victory. They looked like a very good team. WE bounced back. It's not the first time we've seen WE bounce back this season either. They show that they are still a powerhouse organization in the LPL. They are still a force to be reckoned with. But there are some up-and-comers starting to cause some stirs and some upsets in their respective opponents that WE still need to respect and go all in on.
They certainly do. But for the side of FunFlus Phoenix, I mean, 0-2 against EDG, 2-1 against Snake. That was a good victory for them on Snake's home turf. Then 0-2 against OMG, now 1-2 against Team WE. You have to start wondering as we approach cross-conference soon, when is close just not enough for this team?
I mean, the question's always going to come about, Fish, of when they go into cross-conference. Will they just beat everybody? Is this entire group actually just too strong and they're the weakest of the strongest group? We don't actually know that context until cross-conference happens. But it's always an interesting thing to discuss and to think about, because I do really believe that FPX look like a good team, or like a team that can be even better than they currently are with time, with the ability to grow behind their coach. And we do know their coach is very good. He's done it before. He's a miracle worker.
But still looking really strong here today, FunFlus Phoenix, in all 3 matches. WE, however, were the better team at the end of the day. They've shown us that they can adapt their playstyle slightly, but still trying to go more towards what they showed us in 2017 World Championships, which did get them all the way from play-ins to the semi-finals.
And of course, we did get to see how big of a difference Condi makes to them as well. Adding their main jungler back to that roster, suddenly the engage is there, the confidence is there from them. Their ability to play slow and fast is very much evidenced, as we're going to get some high damage numbers between both of the carries of Team WE in this game.
xiye and Mystic leading the charts, but
Poor
as we mentioned...
Oh, man.
Oh, no.
That actually hurts.
It's pretty sad. Still, Condi was definitely the big playmaker on that team during that entire match. Not only setting up the surprise gank in the mid lane, but also the ones that followed onto LWX to create those big goal leads for Team WE.
Yeah, and the difference was actually made through the engages and through the fact that WE just capitalized on no flash from LWX. It feels like FunFlus Phoenix's over-aggressiveness, their over-willingness to take fights is the reason that at the end they just lose.
And with that, Team WE pick up the 2-1 victory over FunFlus Phoenix. I mean, really, really long drawn-out series, very, very long games, but still really good victory for Team WE. For now, we're going to send it back to the analysts to break down the rest of that series.
Thank you so much, Fish. Now, I'm going to take the last sentence that Rusty just said. Over-aggressiveness? Is that the reason why they lost, Ross?
I hate this. Yeah, so exactly what I said at the top of A block. I was like, I think FPX will lose because they'll be over-aggressive in team fights, and that's where Team WE shine. But then I was blinded. I saw the magic of Game 1. I saw the incredible start from Game 3. I was like, no, they can do it. The Padawan is ready. And then WE had the high ground and cut them down with Zach.
Yep. They said, you underestimate my power, and then ultimately that happened. It felt bad because at the start of the game, we were like, nope, FPX have this one. And I was like, yes, Russ, yes, they do. And unfortunately, WE, they found that one fight and just turned it all the way around. And that's just what WE do.
But it's really important about who they found the fight with, because we've been railing Team WE right now that you don't have enough compositions. You're not playing any new champions. There's no versatility there. They brought out the Zach, and the Zach really has kind of been the one new factor to this different type of style, the long-range engage, the confidence there. Yes, it's still about the 5v5s. Yeah, you kind of mix in some Zoe there, maybe a little bit of Azir for xiye. But for me, it really is the Zach is like the truth to that statement. We can do more than what we did in 2017.
I mean, it's also the opportunities they find, right? And we're going to show a replay now that pretty much just demonstrates that, because when they do find those opportunities, they take so much from it. And that's really what separates WE and top teams from a lot of the other teams that are further down the tables than they are.
And I just want to watch this continuously in slow motion, because it was just beautifully executed. The fact that there was a ward as the bait, that Team W were hiding around that corner, just waiting for LWX and crew to walk into a trap, and then just execute on it. And it's like you said, Pulse, the issue with top-tier teams and why you have to play perfectly against them is because even when they're trading down, even when FPX are kind of running away with the early game, these top teams, RNG, Team WE, EDG, will never fall that far behind. They'll always be within touching distance, that when you do give them the opportunity, they're right back in control.
And our man of the match will be Mystic, coming into this one with his Caitlyn. And we've seen Caitlyn twice this series, and that's actually 2 MVPs for Caitlyn, but specifically Mystic, just so much damage on that champion. Like, his mastery of the AD carry role is really impressive to watch.
His mastery of Caitlyn. Not to take anything away from Mystic, his numbers are incredible. I think he is one of the greatest AD carries to ever play the position, but I would never put him in I would never say he's the best AD carry ever, because I don't believe his champion pool is big enough yet. There was an instance, last year where it was pretty much like Ezreal Sivir, and now that's expanded slowly, but he doesn't play Varus. He hasn't played Varus. If you go back to his career, I think he's played 3 Varus games total, and that's a super important pick in the meta. So what it does is it forces Team WE, where they kind of have to bend over backwards in their drafts to compensate for his champion pool. It's fortunate right now that they found a strategy with Caitlyn that works, that Ezreal is a high priority champion, but what happens when the meta shifts out of that?
I was surprised because I thought you were going to be like, well, he farms in side lanes a lot, and FPS exploited that and killed them in the top lane. And I was like, well, yes, that does happen a lot. So there are ways to exploit Mystic, but when he's in those team fights, and actually through most of the laning phase as well, the guy is very difficult to shut down on his champion pool.
Oh,
so
he's incredible. Yeah,
so maybe at some point, yes, people or teams will start to try and exploit him through his champion pool, but up until this point, like, he's gone to the world stage, and it hasn't necessarily become an issue for them yet.
Yes, and again, it's just kind of that matter of, will they ever be patched out? Will Team WE ever have to actually bend and change to remain on top? Because like Rusty said, like we've said all day, Team WE, they're warming up. It's nice to see them in this form, but we expect better.
Yeah, we do, because they can be the best. They can actually go all the way, because that's what a lot of fans were expecting, coming into the World Championship, that RNG, WE, maybe they actually can go the distance. An all-Chinese final. But either way, we're going to send it over to Clement, who is standing by with WE's jungler.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. With me is the victorious Condi. Condi, 你能跟大家打声招呼吗？
大家好，我是 W 打野 Condi。
Okay, so my first question with you is we have to go over that series. I think the turning point was really that Zach and Taric combo in the mid lane. Can you tell us about how this play was designed and why it worked so well? 我第一个想问你的问题是，我觉得刚刚那个系列的关键点，这里是你们在中路扎克跟宝石打出来的一个接技。你能跟我们讲一下这个 play 是怎么样去设计，然后为什么成效这么好吗？
首先是因为对面 AD 在上一波想杀我们沙皇的时候，把闪现用掉了，然后这一波他没有闪现，然后我这个扎克的英雄的特质是非常的远的，然后他们就没有防守得住，然后导致就是给了我们机会。
所以就是这个闪现的这个时机，其实抓得很关键的话，扎克就能发挥很大的一个作用啊。So, Condi's answer is that we noticed that Varus has just expended his flash in the previous fight where he tried to catch our Azir, and also I'm playing Zach that can engage from a very, very long distance. So if you get that flash timing right, you can always make that play kind of work. 那谢谢你哦。那第二个问题的话，我想问，其实今天的赛程对你们来讲应该算是蛮累的，因为你们是一个连续出赛的状态。你们对今天的这个比赛有做什么样特别的调整吗？
其实对于精神上面的负担还是挺大的吧，因为连着2天打比赛，但是我们还是在尽全力的去打，然后在战术上以及ban pick 上面都有很好的针对。
So I asked Condi that this must be a very tiring day for you guys. You had to play a back-to-back set. Did you make any special preparations coming into game? Condi's answer was, yes, indeed, this is kind of a taxing series for us, but we still felt that we had very good preparation coming into the games, and we were able to come through. So my last question for you, Condi, is that you're very well known for your Dragon steals, your Baron steals. You stole a Baron last night, and you also stole a Mountain Drake today. Can you tell us how you're able to consistently do this? 那我最后一个想问你问题，就是西方的观众也都知道，你抢巴龙、抢小龙非常非常厉害的。昨天晚上我们看你抢了一个巴龙，今天又抢了一条屠龙。你能跟我们讲你是怎么办到的吗？
其实更多的是运气的成分吧，然后其次有少量的就是对龙的血量的算计，以及自己技能的伤害，然后结合在一起的话，能精确的计算到什么时候用惩戒这个技能。
So Condi's answer is that there's 3 parts. Mainly, it does come down to luck, and the second, there is some calculations involved, and the third thing is you really have to know how much damage you're going to do to that objective, and if you can time your smite correctly, you will be able to steal like I do. So thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, please don't go anywhere. We still have another Jingdong versus IG set coming out right after this break.